भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 11, text number 44. Tasmat pranamya parinidhaya kayam prasadaya tvamahamishamidhyam piteva putrasya sakheva sakhyuhu priya priyayarhasideva sodhum. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. You are the Supreme Lord to be worshipped by every living being. Thus, I fall down to offer you my respects and ask your mercy. Please tolerate the wrongs that I may have done to you, and bear with me as a father with his son, as a friend with his friend, or a lover with his beloved. So, very nice verse here. Arjuna has been praying in this particular section, and in this verse, he is just begging forgiveness, that in my ignorance, if I have committed any offense, if I have treated you uh, inappropriately, then he's begging forgiveness. And then he's saying that, please tolerate the wrongs that I may have done to you. So here, Prabhupada explained that Krishna's devotees related to Krishna in various relationships. So some of them, they might treat Krishna as their son. Some of them, they treat Krishna as their friend, as their master, as their husband, right? But here, Krishna and Arjuna, they relate in friendship. And as the father tolerates, husband or master tolerates, so Krishna also tolerates. There was this father who had the son, and this son, unfortunately, was very, very disobedient. He would ridicule the father, he would abuse the father, he will deny his authority, and to the extent that he left home. He says, I don't care, I don't want to be with you. Uh, you know, but nonetheless, the father, though he feels bad, but he just tolerated despite all his abuse, all his arrogant behavior. The father tolerates and continue to supply all his needs. You know, he still try to be very loving, very caring to his father, to his son. And then when the son leaves the home, the father go to the extent out of the way, and then he just make sure that though he left the home, but still he should be given whatever is needed for him to survive. So very silently, by some means, the father keeps supplying all of this. So this is the nature of this relationship. Even in this material world, we can find all these kind of things. The parents always try to be nice, caring, loving, despite you know what how sometimes the children they behave not appropriately, but still the parents are always loving and caring. So the story is the story of all of us. The child who left the father, who abused the father, who denied the authority of father, who left home, you know, is none other than we ourselves. Scriptures explains Ichcha dvesha samuttena dvanda mohena bharata. Because of our desire to enjoy independence from the Lord, because of the dvesh, we left the supreme abode, the spiritual world, denying the authority of the Supreme Lord, and came to this world to enjoy independently. But Lord is so kind, so merciful. He tolerated all this kind of insult, and then He says, "No, you may behave whatever way you want, but I cannot leave you." Lord accompany us in this material world. He provides all our necessities to the extent that He decides that I will be there with you constantly. I'll accompany you wherever you go, in whatever form you go. And Lord, as Paramatma, is constantly there with us to guide us, to help us. Right. So this is what this verse here Arjuna is also uh, saying that please tolerate my wrongs that I may have done. Bear with me as a father is to with his son, or as a friend with his friend, or lover with his beloved. So this is the nature. This is the kindness of the Lord, the compassion of the Lord, that He just tolerates. He just tolerates us constantly. When we are so nasty in our thoughts, in our actions, in our behavior, we we are not even qualified. We doesn't even deserve, you know, to be with the Lord. But despite that, the Lord says, "You might be nasty, but I'll still love you." Like the mother to the child, the newly born child. The child does, sometimes he vomits, sometimes he just passes urine, stool, everything. And mother has to clean all that nasty things, dirty things. It's not a very pleasurable job for a mother. But mother loves the child, and in her love, she goes to the extent of, cleaning all this dirty and nasty things, and constantly ongoing thing. It's not like just one time. So this kind of things we see here in this material world. Even the parents tolerate, the friend tolerates, the lover and the beloved. There is a tolerance. There must be tolerance. If there is not, there must be, to survive any relation in this material world. This element of tolerance must be there, and we should understand that without tolerance we cannot, live happily in this world. So we should learn, and we should learn. That should be the inspiration, that Lord is tolerating us. People around me, they're tolerating us. My spiritual master, my guru is tolerating me. I keep committing a lot of offense. My consciousness is not up to the mark. I fail to follow the instruction given by the guru very strictly. But despite all of my negligence in following the instruction, the spiritual master is so kind, so compassionate, that he never gives up on us. Keep inspiring, keep empowering. uh, you know. Uh, so this is the tolerance. The Lord is tolerating. The spiritual master is tolerating, the Vaishnavas, the devotees are tolerating us. Sometimes we come in a community of devotee, you know, and when so many people comes together, there is a possibility there might be clashes, conflicts, arguments. Possible. This is the nature of this world. But as we grow spiritually, we become more mature spiritually, we should understand that I must tolerate all this. And when we become even more mature, then we understand it's not like that I should tolerate, but everybody else is tolerating me. Then why can't I tolerate? Right? So this is maturity. We should learn to tolerate. And there's so many things. There's multiple things can be tolerated. Uh, and there is, various urges and the temptations. So one should learn to tolerate all the urges. Rupa Goswami explains, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Udarupastha Vegam, Etan Vegan Yo Visheheta Dhira. So all these Vegas are there, those urges are there. The urge to speak, the urge of mind, urge of anger, urge of tongue, the belly, and the genitals. One should learn to tolerate if we are interested in advance spiritually. This tolerance is a very, very important principle. Even in the material life, also, if we want to live peacefully, we should learn to tolerate. As the Arjuna is saying, the Lord tolerates, the Lord is tolerating, spiritual master is tolerating, Vaishnavas, the devotees are tolerating, my friends and families are tolerating me at times. Then why can't I tolerate? I should also learn to tolerate. So and there is a urges, the temptation to tolerate. There's feelings and the emotions. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed with some emotions, some feelings, but one should become mature enough to know that when to tolerate and how much to tolerate. Not that all the emotions should be poured out. Sometimes we have to tolerate, control our emotions. One time, this devotee who was traveling with Srila Prabhupada, very, very sincere devotee, doing a lot of hard work, a lot of seva. So then, the temple president told that, okay, Prabhupada is traveling, so why don't you assist Srila Prabhupada as his personal assistant in the flight? So he was super excited. It was like a big reward for him to be with Prabhupada next to him as his personal servant. And like that, he was very, very excited. And then they were going to another temple. And he heard a lot that, whenever Prabhupada comes to temple and the hundreds of devotees they gather, they come and then there is a grand welcome and then tumultuous kirtan and all of that, the ecstatic kirtan and very grand welcome. So he was very excited to witness and that grand reception of Srila Prabhupada on arrival. So as soon as they landed on the airport, um, there was some issue with the luggage, Prabhupada's luggage, and then it needed some clearance and something, some additional steps. So then Prabhupada came there and all the devotees received him, and then Prabhupada says, okay, all the devotees they said that you have to stay back and then do the needful to get the luggage. And in that moment, this devotee felt, oh my God, like if I get stuck here with all this, then I'll miss out all to witness that grand reception of Srila Prabhupada. I was so excited about that. So, but he couldn't say no. It was a necessary thing to do. So Prabhupada left her with all the devotees and this devotee alone. Left, he stayed back to do to get the clearance of the luggage. So that took a little some time, and the luggage came finally. Then all alone he has to just carry that luggage. He got a taxi. He got into the taxi and finally he reached the temple. And by the time he reached the temple, it was already few hours by then. So all that reception, all the kirtan, and after that feast, the prasadam, and everything grand, everything was over. And by the time he entered the temple hall, and when devotees, oh my God, you are coming now. Just now the prasadam got over, and that is another blow. First he missed the to witness, and now he reached the temple, and now there's no prasad also left. He's already exhausted, tired for the day, and then they say, oh, there's no prasadam. So he was a little disappointed that I'm already hungry. I missed that, no prasad. And then finally, he's carrying that luggage. Prabhupada was staying upstairs in a room, so he has to go climb the stairs with all this heavy luggage and all that all alone somehow. He was just managing. He couldn't find any help there. So he was going there. So it was very tiring, very exhausting, and all of that. And finally, he entered the room. Prabhupada was sitting there. He goes and then he just bowed down in front of Prabhupada. When he was bowing down, he felt some tap on his back. And then he saw that Srila Prabhupada was there. Prabhupada raised him, and Prabhupada, said, so much austerity that you have done, but it will be all right. It will be worth when I'll take you back to Godhead. And when he heard this statement from Prabhupada, he felt so relieved. All his exhaustion, all his fatigue, just disappeared, dismissed. He said that all this austerity is worth, you know, because the reward is so beautiful that I can go on taking this kind of austerity for rest of my life. If in turn I'm getting this reward, the Prabhupada is taking me back to Krishna, and I can be with Krishna. I can see Krishna. Not a easy thing, not a simple thing, not a small thing. So the point is, sometime we had to, when we are in a seva, when we are in the devotee community, a lot of austerities in terms of sometimes some physical service, sometimes some mental dissensions are there. Oh, I don't like this devotee, I don't like that person, I can't work with him, I can't get along with him. All those human conditioning is there, but we should understand when we read Bhagavad Gita that let me just tolerate all of this. And this tolerance is possible when our focus is on something higher. Like in case of this devotee in the story, when he heard that Prabhupada said, it will be all right, it will be all worth when I'll take you back to Godhead. So when you know that the return is so much that what I'm paying in terms of little austerity or something is nothing. I can get Krishna, I can be with Krishna. So when you focus on the higher realities, then what seems like a tolerance will not be tolerance. You can very easily, handle all of those situations like that. So this is that because when we talk about the tolerant, it seems like very difficult, very impossible, impractical in certain situations. How can we go on tolerating like that? But this tolerance is only possible, when we are focused on some higher gain. So this is very, very important. And when higher gain is like our spiritual progression, going back to Godhead, going to Vaikuntha, going to Krishna, back home, back to Godhead, then we can easily ignore all these other silly things, right? Otherwise, in this material world, all these ups and downs, uh, this is how this material world is. Krishna also confirms that, the very first instruction of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Matra Sparshastu Konde Asitoshna Sukha Dukkada Agam Apaino Nityastam Tidikshasva Bharata. Says all this Sukha Dukkha is like the winter and the summer season. So different seasons are there. So what can be done? So the season, they're unavoidable, but it is ephemeral, it is temporary. Winters are there. So tolerate means not like that you just keep shivering all the time. Tolerant means do the needful, whatever, you just cover yourself, put some warm clothes, whatever needs to be done, do that. And after that, tolerate. Nothing much. You say, no, why? But this temperature is so cold. I had to change this temperature. Now, don't get consumed by all those kind of things. Just do whatever uh, needs to be done, and then beyond that, you just tolerate, knowing that this is temporary. Agam apaino anityas. This is not going to be permanent phase of my life. It's a temporary phase, whatever sukh and dukh. So let me tolerate, not just get too disturbed, too, impacted by all these situations. So these are the seasons, like these are like different seasons. So the different seasons, one is external seasons, winter and summer, and then their same seasons are inside also. you know Sita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, Man, Apaman. These are all inside seasons. Sukha, Dukkha is on a physical level, you know. Uh, sorry, Sita, Ushna on like on a physical level, and Sukha, Dukkha on the mental level, and then Man and Apman, honor and dishonor. It is on the level of ego. So we had to learn to tolerate all that, knowing that this is all temporary. This is not so very important. What is important in my spiritual progression? So for my spiritual progression, for the sake of my spiritual progression, if I do tolerate all this, it's okay. Let me just be focused on what is my goal, right? But also we should understand that tolerant doesn't mean that accept the things as it is forever. Sometimes people mistake, oh no, I have to tolerate, I have to tolerate. No, tolerate doesn't mean that you accept the things as it is forever. Tolerance is not passivity, it is immaturity. To recognize what to tolerate, right? So it is very, very important. Not that everything has to be tolerated. If that was the case, then Krishna would have not asked Arjuna to fight. He says, just tolerate. Whatever is happening, let it happen, just tolerate. But that is not the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. All these atrocities, that Draupadi was disrobed and all these kind of things cannot be tolerated. But when we say no, do not tolerate, doesn't mean that you should react immediately. It is important to understand that I have to respond to the situation, but also consider that am I the right person to do this? And is this the right time to do this? And it is the right method or right attitude to do this. So when we consider all of those things, then is the right response. So it is not accepting the things forever as it is. It is not passivity. It is maturity. But to understand all of that, so when we apply all these things, all these different filters, then that will be the appropriate response to the situation. Consider that there can be different responses. If it is not something too much, then just live with it. Somebody said something, somebody did not respect me, somebody did not uh, speak to me, very lovingly, pleasingly. Not a big deal. Just live with it if you can live with it. If you can live with it, then try to change it. Go communicate with them, talk to them, and then resolve the issue. And still you can do that. You tried that, it's still not working. Then better you just walk away from the situation, from those kind of people, if you can. So it should not be misunderstood as passivity, it is maturity. So in different situation, your response can be different, but we should still learn to tolerate. Tolerate means And maturity to choose your battle carefully. Not every battle has to be fought. Some battles just ignore or just live with it. If you start fighting each and every battle, then you can never be at peace. Right. So this is what is the maturity of this tolerance. So here Arjuna is saying that Lord, please forgive me. I might have offended you in so many different ways, but please tolerate. So Lord is tolerating, spiritual master is tolerating, Vaishnavas are tolerating us, all the friends and family tolerating us. So I should also learn to tolerate. And tolerance means uh, choose your battle carefully. uh, we have many examples like Haridas Thakur is there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So example of Haridas Thakur, the Tao, he was beaten in 22 marketplaces, but he didn't do anything. He didn't react. Uh, the different reason, because first of all, how he could tolerate all of that was because he was focused on chanting the holy name. He was so absorbed, and from there he he get the power, he get the strength to tolerate. So in that particular situation, he did not find it worth to react, to fight against those people, the soldiers who was coming and beating him up. Probably that would have even made the situation worst. But he was so absorbed in the holy name that he didn't even feel, you know. So yeah, sometimes we have to tolerate the things when the things are beyond our control, beyond our abilities to handle or to response. And in that case, we take the shelter of the Supreme Lord, take the shelter of the holy name, uh, we take the shelter of the prayers to the Lord, and this is how we can tolerate. So there's many examples like that. And there's this beautiful story uh, that one time there was a discussion among all the sages that who is the supreme, who is the supreme Lord. So there are different opinions. Somebody says Vishnu is supreme, somebody says Shiva is supreme, somebody says Brahma is supreme, and like that. So they say no, but we have to find the conclusive answer that who is the supreme. So let us just try to come to the conclusion, do something about this. So then all the sages collectively they decided they chose the sage Bhrigu to do something about it and come up with the answer with your explanation that who is the supreme. So this Bhrigu was given a task to determine that who is the supreme. So he says, okay, let me just go and check who is the supreme. So he went to Brahmaji, and he is the son of Brahmaji, but he very consciously did not show him any respect, like Brahmaji is such a senior personality, and the father figure is the father. But he, Ragumuni, consciously did not show him the respect. He offended him in his mind. And Brahmaji could understand that why he's so disrespectful. And Brahmaji was, visibly upset by this kind of behavior. And that Brahmani left from there. And he goes to Lord Shiva. And there, so Brahmaji, he offended in the mind by not showing him the respect. Now he goes to Lord Shiva. And as soon as he goes, it's like they're both are like brothers. And then he goes and he started ridiculing him. He started chastising this Lord Shiva. He started using all kinds of ill words that you doesn't even have the etiquette. You look so dirty and you're always, smeared in all this ashes and all that. You are not even fit to be, to be stay close to someone and like that. He just with his words, verbally, he offended him. And Lord Shiva, at one point, he lost his control and he became furious. And then he was about to chase him, and that moment, this Bhrigu Muni, he left Lord Shiva also. And then he goes to the Vaikuntha planet. And when he goes to the Vaikuntha, the Lord Vishnu was lying on the Ananta Shesh, taking rest and with the closed eyes. And this Bhrigu Muni goes there. As soon as he goes there, without even speaking anything, without showing any respect, he goes and kick the Supreme Lord Vishnu on his chest. And by his kick, the Lord just opened his eyes. And he saw, oh, this says Bhrigu is here. What happened? And then as soon as he saw Bhrigu Lord Vishnu, he catch hold on to the feet of Bhragumani and started massaging his feet, saying that, "Oh, my dear sage, my chest is so hard. I'm so hard-hearted that, by kicking on my chest, you might have hurt yourself. I know that I might have done something wrong, and that is why you've done this to me. But I know that it might have hurt you, so let me massage your feet." And that moment, this Bhragumani, there are tears in his eyes, and he understood who is supreme. So here is example of the Supreme Lord that who tolerates. Brahmaji couldn't tolerate the mental offense. The Shiva couldn't tolerate the verbal offense. But here, Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he tolerated even the physical offense of getting hit. You know. So Lord, by his example, teaches us that this tolerance is such a virtue that one should have this. It's very, very important. If we are interested in going back to Godhead, going back to Vaikuntha world, and that is the goal of our spiritual practices, then keeping that in mind, the higher goal, we should be ready to tolerate all these silly things, small things, keeping our ego aside. That is how we can enter into the Vaikuntha planet. Today, it's a very, very auspicious day. We are celebrating this Vaikuntha Ekadashi, a very, very grand celebration. So there is glories on this Vaikuntha Ekadashi. It is celebrated, this festival is celebrated in commemoration of this great devotee named Nam Alwar from the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, very, very exalted devotee of extremely high caliber. He appeared in this world just after 43 days after Lord Krishna disappeared. So it is like from that time. And then when he was born, the parents became highly concerned because this Nam Alwar, he turned out to be an unresponsive child. So they waited and waited. And, on the 12th day, the parents they took the Nam Alwar and they left him in the care of Lord Vishnu, in the temple which is situated on the bank of uh, Tambravarani river, and they returned back. But this Nam Alwar, he was left alone, and then he slowly crept into the cavity of a tamarind tree, and he did not even budge from that place for any necessity that a normal person would have. He was completely absorbed in meditation and was experiencing the Lord's pastime in his meditation. So then 16 years lapsed like this, and this Namalwar grew into a youth while in that cavity. So he turned out to be a great devotee. And the long story short, he was such a great devotee that when he left this world and he was qualified to enter to the Vaikuntha, so it is said that to receive this great devotee, his dear devotee Namalwar, that Lord Vishnu left his seat and came in excitement to receive and to welcome this Namalwar on the Vaikuntha Dwar, on the entrance of the Vaikuntha. So it is believed that on this festival in the Vaikuntha Ekadashi, on the day of Vaikuntha Ekadashi, when this Namalwar entered into the Vaikuntha, so the doors were wide open, the Vaikuntha door. So this is believed that on the day of Vaikuntha Ekadashi, anyone who enters into this Vaikuntha Dwar, that is why in all the temples, in all the Vishnu temples, especially in South India, they made this Vaikuntha Dwar, and it is open whole day. And then thousands of devotees and the pilgrims, they come, to enter into the Vaikuntha Dwar. So it is believed that when you enter, it is basically opening the doors for Vaikuntha for all of us. But importantly, it is not just kind of a some ritual that you just enter into the door and you think that, oh, I'm already into Vaikuntha and now I'm qualified and I can do whatever I want to do. Basically, we should also understand it also signifies that entering Vaikuntha means entering that Vaikuntha consciousness, that state of consciousness where we are in complete absorption in Krishna. So if it's a reminder for us on this day, on this festival, then while you are entering in that, we should aspire to enter into that state of consciousness, Vaikuntha consciousness, and that consciousness is Satatam Kirti and Domam, that always chanting the holy name of the Lord, Man Mana Bhavamad Bhakto, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. right? So when we stay in that consciousness, uh, we are already in Vaikuntha. While we are living in this world, in this physical body, in this material world, you are already in Vaikuntha. So this beautiful festival we are celebrating in the temple. So devotees can join us and take the opportunity to enter into the Vaikuntha Dwar, and also most importantly, remind ourselves, prepare ourselves, become more determined, become more fixed up that okay, I had to enter into that Vaikuntha consciousness, that state of consciousness, which is like a Vaikuntha consciousness. Okay, so these are some thoughts on this verse. We'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.